Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with the DRF race of the day for Monday, July the 10th. It's race number 7 at Assiniboia Downs. The $50,000 Jack Hardy Stakes for 3-year-old fillies going 7.5 furlongs. 2 turns at the Downs on the main track. Let's take a peek at this field. Please scan or click the QR code for Race of the Day access on your mobile devices, which includes free Formulator Pass performances. The Jack Hardy race number 7 is the final leg of the $1 Pick 4 at the Downs, and it has a $50,000 guaranteed pool. It is also the final leg of the 20-cent ASD Pick 5 jackpot carryover going into the Monday card of over $350,000. We talk about this field, and we've got to start with the 2, Spittin' Kitten, who's won 3 in a row, has got a lot of early speed, and has already won 2 stakes races this meet at the Downs. Really, the key to this race is, will she be able to relax on the lead, stretching out around 2 turns for the first time? Let's take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, and they expect, not surprisingly, the 2 Spittin' Kitten to get to the early lead. The question is whether she'll face pressure from the likes of the number 8. Forever Lights, another stretch-out sprinter and a horse that's shown speed down in the States at Lone Star Park. If that horse goes out, and I have a feeling that filly will try to battle Spittin' Kitten early, it could set things up for the closers. Again, Spittin' Kitten is trying this 2-turn distance for the first time, as is the number 1, Ashes to Ashes. We're going to watch her most recent race. Now, this is a maiden special, going 3/4 of a mile at the Downs, and she's going to be beaten by a first-time starter. She'll rally to finish second. She ran well enough in this race, and she does have a strong distance pedigree. I think the jock is going to take advantage of this inside post, try to save some ground going into the first turn, and try not to get too far behind in the early portion of this race. Her Beyer speed figures, however, pale in comparison to those of the main contenders. She's yet to win a race from 6 lifetime starts, and she's facing multiple winners. So she's really going to have to show her best stuff if she's going to upset this field. Spittin' Kitten's the number 2. We're going to watch her most recent race at the Downs. This is stakes action, going 3/4 of a mile, and she was simply too fast for this field. She went right to the lead, and in the blink of an eye opened up a clear lead, had 3 on the field on the turn, and was able to hold sway at the wire over the Super Caro, who's going to come back as the number 4 in the Jack Hardy Stakes. The Dam won going 2 turns. She's got some distance pedigree, the Dam being by Kitten's Joy. Spittin' Kitten has got the speed, got a good inside post, and if she shakes loose, she's got plenty of Beyer speed figures that make her very dangerous. She's an extremely logical contender in this race. The question is how short of a price you're going to take. She's bound to get bet. She likes to win races, and she's got those competitive Beyer speed figures. I Am Mila is the number 3. Now, she's going to get Lasix for the first time. That's the significant angle for I Am Mila, who is a half-sister to a horse that was stakes placed going 1 1/8. So perhaps this extra distance will work well for I Am Mila, who has been nothing more than a closing sprinter throughout her 4-race career, and she has yet to hit the board in any one of those 4 starts. I think she's hoping for an electric pace up front. She's hoping that the Lasix helps. She's hoping that the distance helps. And all of these things are going to have to help because, again, she's a maiden facing winners that needs a Beyer boost. Super Caro's the number 4. We saw her making up late ground last time out on Spittin' Kitten going 3/4 of a mile. And a lot of times, closing sprinters don't necessarily translate to being successful 2-turn horses. But looking at Super Caro's past performance lines when she was racing down at Tampa Bay Downs in the States, all 4 of her lifetime victories came going 2 turns, albeit on the turf. So while she's yet to win on dirt, she has run well on dirt at the Downs this meet. She's been successful around 2 turns. She might get more pace to run at this time around. And now she's getting her 3rd start here in Canada. I think Super Caro is a very logical contender as well, especially if we believe Spittin' Kitten is going to take some pace heat, because the argument could be made that this one appreciates the distance a little bit more than your morning line favorite. The number 5 is the Camry Rule. This is a horse that's stretching stepping out in distance, and there's a lot of speed in the immediate female family. This filly is by Stay Thirsty, who wanted to go a longer distance, so I think this pedigree's versatile enough that the Comrie ride will get 7.5 furlongs. My concern is how much upside is there. She's already raced 11 times. She has hit the board in 6 of those races, but with only 1 victory. I do think she's going to need to improve a bit, and she likes to also sort of be in a tracking position. If this pace is fast, if she tries 2 turns for the first time against tougher competition, it could work against her. I think the 6, Reasonably Lovely, is a bit of an interesting long shot play at 8-1 on the morning line. This one was a winner in her lone prior start, going 2 turns at Tampa Bay Downs over the winter. She's tried 2 turns before down at Gulfstream, whether it be on turf or synthetic, but at Tampa Bay, going 2 turns on turf, she got a nice pace setup. She rallied from the back of the pack, and she looked pretty good. Now, in her 3 starts at the Downs this year, she's sprinted all 3 times. She's been beaten twice by Spittin' Kitten, but this time around she gets more distance, and I think that's something she's really going to appreciate, and is another that would benefit from some pace up front. Where's the Pumps is the number 7. Let's watch Where's the Pumps' most recent race. She beats Reasonably Lovely, going 3/4 of a mile in an allowance event, and Where's the Pumps looked pretty good in this race, going 6 furlongs. She sat just off the pace, made a strong move on the turn to get into contention, and then she kept right on rolling. Now, she's a horse that has some upside. She's only raced 6 times in her career, and her Buyer's speed figures keep creeping forward and forward and forward. I think she's an interesting fit in this spot, despite stepping up into the stakes ranks. She has a very versatile pedigree. She's a half-sibling to a horse that's a graded stakes winner sprinting, but a half-sibling to horses that have won going 2 turns. So Where's the Pumps very interesting coming into this race in sharp form, 10-1 on the morning line. Forever Lights is up next. We're going to watch her most recent race. She was second to a nickel claimer down at Lone Star Park, going 5.5 furlongs, and she was claimed out of that race. She showed good speed going 5.5. She ended up finishing second. Her Buyer speed figures down in the States, they stack up very well with this field. She's earned Buyers of 59, 60, and 58 in her last 3 starts. She earned a 63 Buyer 5 starts back on the dirt, and they stack up well with Spittin' Kitten, who's earned 61 and 60 Buyers in her last 2 starts. Forever Lights is going to have to handle the 2 turns. She's got mostly speed in her pedigree, so I do have some questions about the distance for her, and she's going to have to deal with Spittin' Kitten early. So if she's on a hard chase in the early part of this race, it might tire her out. The good news for these connections are they've got 2 others in this race, also off the claim, also coming up from Lone Star, and these 2 might appreciate the distance more. We'll start with the 9, Governor Ann, and we'll watch her most recent race. She finished second. This is a nickel non-winners of 2 life claimer at Lone Star, going a mile. This race for Texas breds. She was wired this day. The pace was not fast at all. They went 24-4, 50 to the half. Governor Ann was likely pace compromised. The fact that she was still running at the end of this race, I think, is a very good sign for her. Distance is obviously no problem. And assessing the competition she faced, the 5th place finisher did come back to run 3rd at that level at Lone Star, but with only a 40 Buyer speed figure. Of the 3 horses from this barn off the claim coming up from Lone Star, she has the lightest Buyer speed figures. She might appreciate the distance the most. The 10 is Diamond Grand. Here's her race at Lone Star last time out, going 6 furlongs. This is a dime condition claimer, and Diamond Grand got a very good pace setup. They went quick, 45-3 to the half. Diamond Grand was able to rally from off that hot pace and get it done. She's hit the board in her last 3 starts. She's going to have to overcome a tough outside post position in this 2-turn race, but distance is good for her, and I think she's tactical enough that she can sort of follow Forever Lights, the 8 out there, and maybe sort of taper in and not lose too much ground going into the first turn. I think she has a chance in this race because her Buyers stack up well. She has upside potential, and there's another coming into this race in very good form. Before we get to my top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF video franchises. Top pick time for the Monday race of the day. I'm going to go with Super Caro. I think this extra distance is going to help her turn the tables on the number 2 Spittin' Kitten. I think Spittin' Kitten's going to be pressured by the number 8 in this race, and that could set things up for the closers, and Super Caro has shown that she appreciates 2 turns and can finish strongly at the Downs. The 10 Diamond Grand is interesting for me because one of the horses she beat last time out's already come back to win twice against Open Company with Buyers of 57 and 67. Illman. She's a horse you might want to use at a price in your multiple race wagers. I'm going 4, 2, 10, and 8 in the Jack Hardy Stakes at the Downs on Monday. Remember, it is the final leg of the $1 pick 4 with a $50,000 guaranteed pool. Final leg of the 20-cent ASD jackpot pick 5 with the big carryover. Good luck.